Hello folks and welcome to another pre-modern video. Today we're going to be revisiting a classic that I haven't touched in quite a bit, and it was all triggered by this right here, which is a fantastic little keychain that I got the last time that I was in Argentina. And I said, man, this is one of my favorite cards in the format and I haven't played Exalted Angel in so long. How about we change that? And this is what we got. This is Black White Control, or PDGA, Playable Dead Gaia, like I still like to call it, even though it arguably is not that playable. Still, I have a lot of fondness for this deck. It was one of my first brews when I just started playing the format, and I just enjoy a lot. And it's a deck that has pretty bad reputation. I think for good reason. It's because people continue playing the same list over and over again, and there are problems that the deck has which have been exacerbated with time, namely the omnipresence of the card Parallax Tide, but they just keep going at it over and over with the same strategy, and I think that's not going to work. So what I tried is a couple of concepts. First of all, Aura of Silence feels like the only way that we can potentially beat Parallax Tide, and what this does is it buys you time. It doesn't actually answer the problem, but in order to take advantage of that time, we need to start to get a little bit more aggressive, and we need to have access to a B plan against those Tide decks, because otherwise they're just going to amass enough resources that they're going to be able to overwhelm us. So you will see that I have one Aura Silence, one Phyrexian Negator in the sideboard, and then we go up to 4 copies of each of those cards once we move on to the sideboard. So what I tried to do here is to save a little bit of sideboard space by having these cards in the main deck, so that my sideboard mapping made a little bit more sense. And yeah, I mean, that's the kind of things that we need to change if we want to have this deck continue to be playable, or as close to as possible. Things like Eternal Dragon, I'm going a little bit lower on. I'm only playing 3 copies. I consider going down to 2, but I ended up staying with 3. I enjoy this card way too much, and I think right now, in the past I cut 1 Exalted Angel to make room for the 4th Dragon. I think that we are in the opposite time now, where Exalted Angel can actually be more valuable than Dragon when everybody is trying to like mid-range you with Call of the Herd tokens and stuff like that. Then Exalted Angel is exactly the card that you want, because it can get into play before your opponent plays an Armageddon, and then it can actually go from there. It can actually take over the game by itself and be able to race much better than the Dragon. What I ended up cutting though is Decree of Justice. This is the threat, quote unquote, that I chose to cut to make room for Phyrexian Negator. And the reason for that is that decks like Landstill or stuff like that, where Decree really was at its best, they're just not really that popular anymore because they lose to the Tide deck. So there you go. So everything is kind of like a little bit of it's been coming from that concept, trying to see what maybe doesn't work as well anymore in the current context of the format, and then taking from there. I still think Phyrexian Furnace is extremely important. I wouldn't cut this ever. Basically, I think this just needs to be in the main deck, and in fact, I'm going up to 4 copies in post-hybrid games. And then I added a Secluded Stephen Barrymore. I have been very much against these cards in the deck in the past, but I think that we are now in a spot where, again, like, we need to try to play a little bit of a slower, more robust game, and being able to fight. Like, you don't need answers on turn 1 as often as you did before. You need untapped sources on turn 1 is what I mean, to cast your Duresses and Source of Plowshares. So by using by having access to some Cyclone lands, it can help us have like a better idea, or just a little bit more control over not flooding as much. Passing that, it's just a bunch of like basics and stuff. Like this was always the deck's strongest aspect, is the fact that the mana base is extremely reliable. Because of Armageddon and Cataclysm, I'm actually trying out a copy of Planar Birth. This card I've been thinking about for a while, and I eventually even bought myself a couple of copies of it, but I don't think I actually played this deck with this card in the sideboard. Maybe I did once, but I haven't really tried it too hard. Then the rest of the deck is some Circular Protection Red, some Engineered Plagues, obviously, and then a singleton copy of Cabal Therapy, for the same reasons that I was saying earlier, that, I'm thinking of, okay, how am I going to sideboard against decks like Stasis or like some other Tides and stuff, and I think that 1 mana interaction is exactly where you want to be, so that if your opponent Tides you, then you can just sandbag a land and then play Cabal Therapy, if they're comboing you with Stifle, that is, right? So sandbag a land, play Swamp, then Duress or Cabal Therapy, and then take the Stifle from their hand, and then hopefully get your lands back. So again, part of the same concept. But Cabal Therapy is just a great card if, you know, kind of combos with Decree of Justice, but I don't even really care about the flashback. If it happens, it happens, awesome. But I'm not like super, I'm not really trying to maximize on Cabal Therapy. It's just like a one-off. If I could play a 5th Duress, I would play a 5th Duress instead. This card has a very, very specific purpose, and I think it's going to smooth out my sideboarding options a lot better. So there you go. This is going to be the deck that we're going to be trying today. If you are enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you for round number 1, folks. Alright, folks, here we are for round number 1. Man, it's been a while since I saw this kind of hand. Yes, this hand is exactly what we're looking for. We got removal, we got some land drops, some duress action, a little bit of everything. One in lackeys on 1, so I guess that means we plow on 1. Sucks because it means that our duresses are basically dead. The only target we have for Naturalize, which is my opponent's only spell, is not great because it's Hour of Silence. Turn 2 Pile Driver. That is cool, I think. I'm just gonna play Furnace right now, and I'm just gonna pass. This feeds my Skeletal Scrying. I'm not gonna activate it. My opponent doesn't have any synergies over there, so I'm just gonna cycle Furnace on my opponent's instead. Okay, never mind, we're just gonna plow this dude. Opponent on move 5 had a very strong one. I think I'm actually going to morph here. Blocks pretty nicely. That Wasteland's gonna be kind of devastating here. We do not want to see a Ringleader, but anything else is kind of fine. That's a rough Wasteland. Second Driver, great draw. Truly great draw. So I guess we just pass? We may have to trade here. I guess I'm gonna draw first, but I don't want to get destroyed by my opponent drawing the Gem Palm. So let's just Skeletal Scrying for X equals 2. Let's see what we find. Second White Source. Negator's not great here. So I take 6, down to 9, flip Angel next turn. At turn LV I take 3 and I play a slower game. This is a key turn. This is a very key turn. I think I'm gonna take the hit. And I'm gonna use my turn to flip the morph. They played a lackey. Did find a White Source. So now I guess what we have to do is flip this Angel and trade with one of these Pile Drivers because they're lethal. So I guess it would have been better to trade. Would have taken the same amount of damage, except this turn I would have been able to use my mana. Now I'm stuck flipping this Angel. I effectively time walked myself, so I may lose because of that line that I took. Obviously, if my opponent doesn't have another Goblin that they can cast, I just win on the spot. So it's probably still right to go for the line that I took. It just doesn't feel great. Especially if my opponent found like a Siege Gang or something like that here. Because then we're going to be in really bad shape. Take 6, game 4 up to 7. Opponent didn't draw anything, so at least there's that. Pretty nice draw. So let's cycle Furnace first. Gerard's Verdict. Could just drop a Negator. I don't think I can just pass the turn. I guess I might as well do rest now, so I know that if they have Gem Palm, which is exactly what they have, god damn it. That's brutal. That's brutal, because now I'm stuck Gem Palming this turn. So I can't afford for my opponent to just draw something here, right? But now the thing is that I can draw. They should just discard the Gem Palm. They should not cycle. Because if they find the land, then I just gain 3. So I need to find an untapped land here, and if we do, I may have a shot. Okay, well, here's an Angel. Let's see if this is good enough. I lose to a Mog Fanatic, to a what's his name, the Mog Fanatic. Another Angel. That's a very good draw. Yeah, I'm kind of drawing like fire here. My draws have been pretty outstanding, I'm not gonna lie. So this Angel is forced to block to trade with the Pile Driver. But now I'm kind of stabilized. Ringleader is insane for them here, because now they get to just drop a Siege Gang. Alright, this turn around quickly. This turn around pretty quickly. So I guess I need to find a Wrath. Opponent holds on to the Mog Fanatic. So I guess we play the land, and we have to scry in for 2 to find Wrath of God. That was poor sequencing on my part. So I swing for 4. They go to 14. I verdict myself. Discard Reflecting Pool, gain 3 up to 13. I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they have exactly lethal. Got here. Drew pretty well there, but ultimately that mistake that I made earlier did end up costing me. So let's bring in the plagues. Let's bring in the circuit protections, Scud negator, and aura of silence, obviously. Anything else? No, I do like the scries. Oh, the duresses, right. So I'd rather have therapy than duress. This looks fine. Yeah, this is good. I did mess up my sequence here. I could have held the land first, because there's no reason to play the land first. I can just draw the cards and I still have 4 mana for Wrath, so that would have allowed me to potentially survive. Okay. This hand, I guess, scoops to a turn 1 lucky, so maybe I shouldn't be keeping this. I don't know if my opponent's going to be mulliganing for turn 1 lucky when they know that I have Engineered Plague. Looks like they have the lucky. Alright, here is Gerard's Verdict. Matron land. So that probably means that they have the big guy already in hand, the Siege Gang. Because otherwise they could have Matron for the Siege Gang. No port is good for me. Matron. Oh, they just have redundant Matron. There we go. Also explains it. Morning goes for Ringleader. Fanatic. So here's an Angel. Not much else I can do. If they have another Fanatic, or if they have, God forbid, a Gem Palm, we're going to be in trouble. But obviously I am trading with a Lucky here. Lucky plus Fanatic, that is. There it goes. I assume my opponent's going to port me here. Play a land, say go. Now the question is going to be whether I'm interested in cycling this Decree just for nothing. Just no value. They missed the land drop. That's huge. Okay. I think we Verdict now to limit my opponent's options. Naturalize, Gem Palm. Oh, they drew the Gem Palm a turn afterwards. That's very good for me. I imagine they're just going to Ringleader here, which gives me a turn without port, which is good. So they have Siege Gang, another Matron, Wrath. So we can delay this for a bit. That's a very good draw, of course. I do think that I just Decree for the full amount. And now things are looking pretty good for us. Things may go south, but it's not super lucky, I would say. I'm going to do this to play around my opponent having drawn another Gem Palm. It's only 1 point of damage. I think it's worth doing. They have 2 unknown cards. I'm basically waiting until my opponent does something. Okay, now they Matron. I'm waiting until they overextend a little bit more. Another Ringleader. Yeah, well, that's not bad at all. Sure, they ping my dude. Maybe I should have attacked first. I'm feeling fairly comfortable in this spot though. They do have the Naturalize as the last known card. I think I want to cycle Dragon. That's not bad. Okay, now we have a way to close the game. So I'm pretty comfortable with this scenario right here. Ringleader first. Okay. Incinerator, Pile Driver. It's not bad. Definitely trading. I'm interested in trading early and often, especially now that I know that my opponent has both Gem Palm and Pile Driver in hand. Would like, definitely gonna cycle here, and I would like to find something like an Angel or whatever. Let's play Furnace. We're gonna immediately cycle it. Doesn't really do anything. Now we start playing the Eternal Dragon game. War Chief. Definitely gonna plow that one. This is how I lose this game. It's like my opponent does some nasty War Chief things. Dragon time. Barrymore. Yeah, I'm feeling very comfortable about my spot here. Lucky. Pile Driver. Also cool. Gonna bring back the dragon. And we're gonna cycle again. These are not some particularly great draws, I have to be honest. Now this is gonna be an interesting turn, because I can hope to save the Wrath. I think we just take the hit, and then we force the Wrath of God. One and does go for the Siege Gang. End step, cycle Barrymore. It's a nice draw. And I guess now we don't get back the dragon. Oh, they port me, that's a mistake. So now I'm gonna take advantage of this. My opponent should have waited until draw step. And now I Wrath. This is also one less dude that they get to sack, which is obviously good for me. I'm gonna take a shock to the face. My opponent's last card is just a Gem Palm. We're in the clear. I guess I'm gonna play the Caves in case my opponent finds a War Chief. But I don't think I'm even scared of a War Chief at this point. I feel like we are too far ahead. Second port, just not gonna matter. We are good here. Wasteland. It's actually pretty good for me. Tap my land. Tap my other land. That's fine. Gerard's Verdict. Angel. Verdict you. That should be game over. One impacts it in. Game number 3. This looks fine. Definitely sad that I chose to go for Planar Birth instead of the Infest that I had before. For sure a matchup where that is going to matter. This hand. 1 and kept 7. What is it with Goblins players just always having it? I guess I keep this. Like, it's not great, but I have the Plague I have Therapy, so I can potentially... Oh, turn 1 Fanatic. I can beat that. Okay, so I'm gonna go turn 1 Furnace so that I can cycle it on turn 2 if I need to. CD of Brass. Take 1. Definitely need to hit a land drop, so I'm gonna cycle this right now. Boom. Easy game. Mock Fanatic comes in for 1. No land drop. Oh my god, that's a very, very big deal. What hand did they keep? They just have naturalizes and stuff? Oh, they found the land. That's the War Chief. So here we have a choice. That's definitely a choice. How do things develop from here? I can name Pile Driver with Therapy. Because the problem is, if I drop a Plague, my opponent naturalizes and drops a Pile Driver. And then War Chief is a very big problem. I could vindicate the War Chief. I don't think that the line is to play Engineered Plague. I know that for sure. Because I do that, my opponent naturalizes, plays Pile Driver, and I'm in really bad shape. I could vindicate in a line doesn't do anything. If my opponent has a second War Chief and they vindicate, that is a problem. I could Therapy, name Vindicate, name Pile Driver, and play Circuit Protection Red. I could Therapy, name Naturalize, and play Cop Red. I think I like that. I think they have Naturalize in hand. This means that if I draw a land, I'm gonna be in really good shape. Yeah, they do have Naturalize. Now we play a Cop. And this Matron, a War Chief, Anarchy. So now if I draw land, next turn I can go Plague plus Hold Up Land, which leaves me in pretty decent shape. 2 mana, Matron. There's the Pile Driver. Good play. This is going to be a lot of damage. And I need to draw land. If I draw land, I think I'm... Okay, cool. So now I just Plague down to 3. Name Goblin. Opponent plays a second War Chief. Oh, they could Anarchy potentially. Are they going to Anarchy here? Tranquil Domain? Naturalize the Plague. Bro. So now they War Chief and I die. Oh, man. That's a good draw. It was a very good draw for them. Yep. Alright, we're dead. Again, this is another situation. As I always say, like, Plague is not necessarily better than against Goblins. To be fair, like, we would have not been able to cast the Infest, so there's that. Yeah, that was close. I feel like we missed that one land drop. If we had found that land drop on time, I feel like we would have been okay. It was like turn 4, I guess, because that would have allowed me to, like, hold up Secret Protection this turn. And then I untap. Although I guess we're still dead, with my opponent having double War Chief. Definitely an interesting game. I wonder if there's... I don't think there was anything else I could have... I could have mulliganed. That was really like the only other thing that I could have done, I think. And that could have affected the outcome of the game, like trying to look for a better hand. But my opponent's hand was obviously like spectacular, right? They had literally everything. I'm not sure if even mulliganing would have mattered too much. That was fun though. Okay, here we go for round number 2. In the blind, I don't know what my opponent's up to. I think we ship this. This is better. I think I bottom source to Plowshares? That's weird to think about, but I think nowadays fairness matters more when I have access to, you know, both Vindicate and Wrath of God here. And it looks like we're playing against a Treetop Village deck, so we may have made the right decision. We definitely made the right decision. So yeah, we're gonna Vindicate the Library. This game's gonna go very long, so... Also, my opponent played a Gemstone Mine, which makes me suspect that they don't have a better land to play. Yeah, this is looking really bad for them. Okay, we're kind of cooking here. Gerard's Verdict. Gonna make my opponent discard some cards. Mage and second... Huh, that's actually interesting. I think I'm not going to Furnace. This incentivizes my opponent to play another land, spend their turn, flashing back the Call of the Herd. That destroys their Gemstone Mine. Okay, instead they go for this. Very surprised by that line. Definitely gonna take 3 here. I think we have time. We can take it easy. I don't need to Wrath yet. If my opponent plays... Oh, another library is rough though. I hate to see that. So yeah, I kind of have to find an answer to this library now. So I think I'm gonna cycle, exile the Call of the Herd. White Source. Another White Source. It's not looking great. Them being able to untap with library is very, very good for them. I have answers to some threats, which is nice. Only paying 4 is a big mistake. They should have paid 8 immediately. It doesn't matter what they're... I guess if they have a fetch land, maybe they don't. But if they do, you gotta pay 8 there. Wayfarer. You're gonna overextend into a Wrath? Oh yeah. Well, this is so good for me. So, duress or no is the question. I think I duress. Source the Plowshares down. Wrath of God. Yeah, and Gemstone Mine is so bad in these decks. They do nothing. Eternal Dragon is a great draw here. Do I cycle now to hit my land drop? I don't think so. I think I just pass the turn. My opponent continues to not pay 8. They should have paid multiple. multiple times already. I'm gonna cycle an end step, and then next turn I can spend my turn getting back the dragon. I'm trying to play around Armageddon to the best of my ability. I'm probably gonna plow this. Sucks because I give them more life for library, so I was hoping to not have to, but I think it's a necessity there. Here comes the dragon. That's a draw. Yeah, we're gonna sit on that one for a bit. Again, playing around Armageddon here. Armageddon, Cataclysm, whatever. Finally, my opponent plays 8. Should have been doing that for a while. Sick. I guess this is a good time to duress here. Nothing, huh? Just nothing? They do have port. I might Dust Bowl in this turn. I think I am. Sacrificing the KO of Coilus. Opponent's known cards are Port, Mage, Sword. And another Gemstone Mine. Oh my god, this card is so bad. That's so funny. So I guess we're at a point where we have to overextend into Geddon. I don't think we can play around there any longer. They named Skeletal Scrying. Interesting choice. I think we Dust Bowl right now. Down to 3. Wasteland. Bye-bye Dust Bowl. It's actually kind of annoying. This, I guess, names Wrath of God or Source of Plowshares. So we're gonna play Cycle here. Second Melee Mage is definitely good for them there. That's a terrible draw. Probably the worst draw in the entire deck there. Obviously, the story of this game is the Sylvan Library, right? That's why I was so scared of it. Sport. Opponent comes in for 4. My best draw here would be Decree of Justice. Yeah. I guess we take this turn to get back the dragon. Good draw. Buys me a turn. Second port is pretty good for them. So I'm gonna kill the one that's naming Wrath of God, because even right now I cannot really Skeletal Scrying too well. So here, let's see if my opponent taps a land on upkeep. They do. I'm gonna force them to activate again. We drew a bad card though. Off we go. So I shouldn't cycle the dragon here. I need to find Vindicate or even some, obviously Wrath of God. Even something like Girard's Verdict buys me a turn. There's the Geddon. Okay, so now I have only one viable draw, which is Source to Plowshares. Yeah, Library won this game for my opponent. Angel, 1 turn too late. Okay, on to the next game. So here we want the Furnaces, the Auras, the Planar Birth. I also think Negator is interesting. I think I'm gonna cut it though, but I do think it's kind of interesting. Exalted Angel seems okay. The rest seems okay. All my cards just seem okay. None of my cards are great. They're all just okay. I didn't see Quiet Spec. I did see Wayfarer. I think cut a Furnace. I think I cut the Decrease. The Decrease would have been great there, but I don't know. Maybe Decrease is just fine. Maybe cut an Angel. Don't want to cut a Dragon. Skeletal Scrying also sounds great. Maybe 4 Auras is a little bit too much. So let's do 3. And let's cut a couple of Duresses. Like, Duress is fine. It's not insane or anything. 10, some's fine. 3 verdicts is a heck of a lot of verdicts. But I do like that we have some mana sources. We have a scrying to refuel. Would love to draw an Eternal Dragon. Put him most to 6. And I definitely have to dodge Weather Wayfarer. No Wayfarer. That's good for me. That's an answer to Wayfarers. Okay, so we're cooking. Wasteland would be kind of brutal here, not gonna lie. Coil of the Herd, Cataclysm have been discarded. There's the Wasteland. Mox Diamond. Going for a Terror War. I suspect my opponent's last card in hand is a land, which would grow the Terror War. I think we passed the turn here. It's bad. I think I'm gonna have to cycle this Scrying for 1. I'm gonna wait for them to Wasteland. I'm going to Scrying exile the land, so that makes the Terror War a little bit smaller. So float black, but I really need to find my second land. Now we exile the caves. I'm gonna take 2. Okay, cool. Found the black source. Reshatten Port. Opponent taps my land. We're gonna plow the Terror War. Another plow is not awful. Hopefully they spend their turn porting me again. Wayfarer. That must die. That is dying. Another Girard's Verdict. That's hilarious. Flashback Call. It's a Wrath of God. Verdict you, I guess. Melee Mage. Which they cannot cast. That's pretty funny. Okay, so opponent's turning the corner. It's a black source. So we're gonna pass the turn. And now this is gonna be interesting. We're gonna swing for 3. No treetop. Interesting. So let's scry in for 2. Vindicate. That's rough. Definitely rough. Okay. So now I guess I Vindicate the treetop here. Go to 1. And that puts me in a position where I can potentially, if I find another white source, I can Wrath the Elephant token. Worst case scenario, I can Verdict myself to gain 3, potentially 6 life. Oh, perfect. Alright, so now we win. So we Wrath of God. Play Baron Moore. Pass the turn. Another Terror War. I guess maybe I spoke too soon. No, did not speak too soon. Easy. I suspect they probably have a Source to Plowshares in hand, but that potentially buys me a little bit of time. Wayfarer. So now they port me. I can cycle for one. I think I just let that happen. Good draw. Very good draw. So Verdict you. Oh, we gain 3 life in the process. Nice. So now I Vindicate the Wayfarer and I start swinging. Because if I don't Vindicate this Wayfarer, then Terravore is going to start to get a little bit too large. So we go up to, I guess, no, never mind. I was going to say I'm good at 2 get them, but that's just not true. Ritz Grove. Spawns a land, which is 3 more life for me, even though it grows a Terravore for 1. I could cycle for 3. I'm kind of interested in Verdicting, because that means that I don't get got by Armageddon, which seems like the only way that I lose here. I think we play land, we Verdict, we pass the turn, and we should be able to win the race. Found the land, and now I can cycle Decree for 4 dudes or 1 angel. I think I'm gonna get the 4 dudes. Draw a card. Furnace is a great draw. We are dead to Armageddon, maybe? No, definitely. We can chump 4, but then Geddon would mean Terravore is very, very big. Wayfarer. Yeah, it's too late for that one. I don't think that matters anymore. Take 5, port my land, that is fine. Okay, so now we just swing with everybody. And this Source to Plowshares, now I'm gonna let the Wayfarer live, because this Source to Plowshares means that Terravore is no longer lethal, so Wasteland. On to game 3. And this deck really likes game 3s, doesn't it? We bring in the 4th Furnace. I like the Duresses on the draw better. Those Verdicts were very good though, I have to say. We can probably cut a Decree and maybe both of them. Bring in the 4th Angel or the Aura. But with Library being so important in the matchup, I feel like I'd rather draw some more Duresses. Yeah, this hand looks good. That's a fantastic draw. And 1 Duress. Double Library. So let's take the Seal then. Fine, opponent. You can have your Library. I think I'm gonna Verdict here. It's a little bit awkward in the face of the Wasteland. Brutal. I drew another Library. I was gonna say, but I want to force them to discard some amount of lands. Now, I mean, obviously we got super punished for the line, but we didn't know that at the time. Opponent correctly pays 8. Wasteland in the house. There goes my land. Another Swamp. This is gonna be interesting. This Skeletal Scrying is probably gonna do some amount of work. I may need to cycle looking for a white source. Opponent continues to aggressively pay life, which is the right play. Windswept Heath. Oh. This is the best thing they can do? I guess that probably means, yeah, I'm gonna cycle this, because that probably means that they have some sort of Geddon action. Play a Morphed Angel? This Planet of Birth here, looking promising, not gonna lie. Source of Plowshares, that's kind of good for me. There's the Wayfarer. Vindicate. So I guess we're just gonna draw 3. Library continues to do its thing. When I place the land, I don't like that play, because I only have a single white source here. So now we scrying for 3, making sure we exile the land, of course. Still no white source, nor Eternal Dragon. Let's cycle Larimore, because we really need a white source. Guess that's a white source. Cycle 4 planes, and I guess we're going to Verdict. Cataclysm Swords. Kind of a fine Verdict, I would say. Wayfarer still gets in there. So let's do Res. See what the opponent's cooking with. Source of Plowshares. Out of here. And I guess I'm gonna play Exalted Angel here? I guess so. It does stop them from attacking with Wayfarer. I think that them playing out that 1 land is gonna come back to bite them. Maybe they should have been even destroying their own gemstone mine here, which they have not been doing. Woof. Ugh. So I Vindicate the Wayfarer. I guess I can already flip this angel. I just need to find a white source. That cannot be a Caves of Koilos. Man, we have been really struggling this game to find another white. We can draw another Vindicate, but honestly, okay, that locks it up. Yeah, now we have no draws. Oh man, that is quite unlucky. That is quite unlucky. Yeah, we have no outs. For people who say that playing 4 Sylvan Libraries is overdoing it, this was a great example of why you should play Sylvan Library. Like both of the games that I lost because my opponent had a Sylvan Library that I could not deal with. And this one I could have, but my opponent had 2 in their hand, so I was not able to get rid of them. I ended up taking like an irrelevant Seal of Cleansing. All right, we're gonna go on our own terms though, for sure. There we go. Cool. That was pretty good. It was very close match. I mean, Library, heck of a card. This is why I'm a Library stan. This card is absolutely awesome. See you for the next round. I feel like I cut the 27th land from the deck, and I have regretted it ever since. And this hand is fantastic if I find any land off the top. Like I need a second land, but I think I'm gonna have to mulligan because I'm on the play. Oof. Okay, I guess I'm keeping this one. Think about on Vindicate. This one at least I can interact with my opponent. Actually, I'm gonna cut the verdict. It just fits awkwardly. Even if I find the land, it fits awkwardly in my curve. Obviously, if my opponent's playing goblins, we lose anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, Hermit Druid. It's very bad for me. Should I take the Mock? I guess I have to take the Mocks, otherwise I lose. That sure is something. Oh, he drew Mox, of course. At least we have this, so we got some play. I don't know if this is going to be enough to stop whatever Artist's Kill is, but at least gives me a point of interaction. Caves of Koilos. Couple of Therapy has been cast. Hypnotic Spectre? I guess I have not shown him a white card yet, so it kind of makes sense. Kind of awkward as like I cannot do rest Amber's Call. So I'm gonna spend this turn just to cycle on my opponent's end step. Druid gets in there. Okay. Untap. That's actually not bad. Don't do res. I guess I'm gonna activate Furnace now. Now he's gonna call. I wonder what he calls for. There he goes. This will be an interesting spot for him to... he's probably playing like that Terravor version. This would have been an interesting spot to go get Terravor, but obviously we drew our Furnace, so Terravor doesn't really do that much. He still gets the Terravor though. Cabal Therapy, main phase. So I think I'm just gonna scry in here. I mean, I know that's what he's gonna name. I'm gonna draw a card. Eternal Dragon's a fine pickup. Names Vindicate. Cool. So that's Furnace. Does he have a kill here? I guess I cycle the dragon because I'm not gonna do rest here, obviously. So I don't show him the one unknown. Like I'm gonna be cycling anyway. This can force him to potentially play around Swords to Plowshares. But I don't think it's getting better for him, so this Furnace is doing the Lord's work here. The little oven that could. Then next turn we can drop a negator. We can start putting on a clock. Go. He activates. Okay. So he crows on Rex now. He's got Shallow Grave. So I guess what he does is he puts Ghoul, then Terravor. No, that doesn't work though. It doesn't work because he put the Terravor in his hand. Wow, that's cute. The one of Riftstone Portal to make sure that you can tap. That you don't take any more pain from your lands. It's kind of cute. Skeptical of whether it's actually good. So he gets Exhume and Reanimate. Am I missing anything? So he gets Exhume. Let's take a look at the graveyard. And actually the order is going to matter a lot. So he gets Exhume and Reanimate. So he Cabal Therapies his own dude. That allows him to get back the Ghoul. Yeah, I think I let this resolve. I may be wrong, but I think that this is fine. So what happens now is he draws one of his thingies. Hopefully he draws the Reanimate. He Cabal Therapies me. My hand doesn't matter, so this is whatever. Well, but now this is much easier though. So now I just Furnace the Terravor. His Sutured Ghoul is very tiny. Let's see how tiny. That's gonna be important. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13. Does sound quite lethal. There's that. So I guess I need to exile the Ghoul. Notably, Dragon Breath only cares about mana value. So if he did top deck the Reanimate instead of the Exhume, then I exile the Ghoul. I exile whatever he targets. And if he top deck the Exhume, then I just exile the big boy. And then the Terravor is not going to be big enough for next turn because I can just chomp it with the Negator to not die. He's got 16 lands in his graveyard. I think it all came down to him tutoring that Terravor. If he had tutored literally any other creature, then he would have been in much better shape here because he would have played like the random one when he tutored to Flashback Therapy. But now because of he has the second Terravor in hand, he's in a very awkward spot. Oh, he just wants to hardcast his current Terravor. Okay, I see now. So what we do is now it's not gonna get rid of any lands, so I'm just gonna cycle this now while I have the mana. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of the Sutured Ghoul. And without a Ghoul, he's not gonna have haste. Could also take the Dragon Breath, but I don't know, I feel safer taking the Ghoul. Unless I'm missing something and there's 2 Ghouls, but I don't think so. Cool, so there goes that. We untap, Vindicate. Might as well do that, I guess. I'm not gonna swing with Negator. Maybe there's another way that he can give haste or something. Take the Exhume. Might as well play the land, pass the turn. Just Just have him deck himself. But I think I navigated this game. That's interesting though. So I guess he was setting up this all along to just hardcast the Terravore. Pretty interesting. So his one draw is reanimate. There's nothing he can reanimate that matters. And then he's gonna get decked next turn. Oh, wow. The line was to reanimate my Eternal Dragon, which actually does get haste because of the Dragon Breath. That's so smart. Damn. I did not think about that at all. That's so cool. That's amazing. Getting there for 6. Dragon Breath actually matters. Wow. Crazy. That was awesome. Nice job, Ari. Yeah, we're bringing these furnaces. Therapy's also probably okay. Think we want the negators. Cut the decrease. Cut the Aura of Silence. Let's cut at least one scrying. And we cut some angels just too mana intensive. Oh, we want plagues for sure. All of his dudes are 1/1s. Does Wrath of God matter? I don't think Wrath matters as much as Plague. I think Plague being 1 mana cheaper. Definitely on the draw. Let's cut a dragon. As we saw, Skeletor's Scrying can still matter quite a bit. I'm on the draw, so I don't think the game is gonna go super long. This hand is a little bit too slow. No interaction with the board. He is a combo deck after all. I think I'm gonna move on this. This hand is much better. Keep this. I think I'm gonna bottom the Duress or the land. No, I think I bottom the Duress. Negator is gonna be important. I want to make sure that I can clear the way. I guess it wouldn't have mattered. It's gonna take the Furnace here. Also makes my mana curve extremely awkward. So I guess if I don't draw something, if he drops a Hermit here, I'm pretty screwed. Wall Therapy. At least no Hermit. I should have kept the Duress. Maybe bottom a land, get a little bit greedy. He takes the Negator. Reanimate my Negator. It's a clock, because I should have kept the Duress. Illusionist. Wall Therapies. So that's gonna name Vindicate. So do I draw now? I think I just take 1 turn off, take 1 more hit, and draw 1 more card. Take 5. Let's draw some cards. So I can verdict myself to gain 6. That means how many more turns? Just 1 more turn? I kind of want to play around this card and stuff, so I think I should cast it now if I'm going to do this. Discard Plains and Reflecting Pool. Go up to 14. That makes me able to take 1 more hit. Yeah, I think so. I definitely discarded Plains. Do I discard the Dust Bowl? No, I'm going to try this Reflecting Pool. Dust Bowl actually gives me something to do. Take 5. Right, 1 more turn, I guess. Need to find an answer to my own Negator. Oh, that was wrong, actually. Because now I cannot find an Angel. Anyway, I didn't do anything, but if I hadn't bowled there, I could have drawn Exalted Angel. Yeah, Vindicate was 1 card too low. I guess the Reanimate plan makes Wrath of God a little bit better. I still think I want to be on Negator shenanigans. Let's cut a Plague and 1 verdict. Okay, what do we got now? Man, what's with all these 1-landers? 26 lands. How many am I supposed to play? I guess bottom the Negator? As a turn, there's the Duress. It's gonna be very interesting. Whatever they take is gonna tell me a lot about what they're trying to do with their game plan. Like, do they go for the Duress? Do they go for the Vindicate? Vindicate it is. So that probably means that they have the combo rolled up. Goblin Shaman. It's not expecting that one. On the Swords to Plowshares. Goblin is not really doing anything. I'm surprised he paid with Gemstone Mine instead of CD Brass. I wonder what that means. Okay, so we're hanging out here. Let's do rest. Finally a Black Source. Take the Reanimate. And his hand is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. He didn't reanimate my dragon because he knows of the Wrath of God that I have in hand. Turn. Like we keep on keeping on over here. It's a nice draw. So let's Jirard's Verdict. Discard Suktabi and a land. Now we can plow and play the Phyrexian Furnace. A little awkward that we cannot yet do dragon shenanigans. So we're gonna have to hang out for a bit. He calls. Wonder what he even calls for here. If he has another Octavi or another Monkey, that's probably the choice. This is going to be much harder for him to win as long as this Furnace is in play. If he gets Illusionist, very interesting choice. Place it out. I don't think I Wrath this. That's a really good draw. Now we're really cooking. It's really hard for him to win now. I'm probably going to have to Wrath next turn though. Obviously not this turn because I may get comboed out, but I want to play around the top deck, Duress or Cabal Therapy because he knows that my last card is a Wrath. Nomads and Core. See what the combo is and whether that combo can beat double Phyrexian Furnace. Maybe he has a second Frozen Reclamation, but then I interact on different axes. Or just exile the Terravores instead. Shallow Grave. So we have to exile. I see now. So this doesn't target. It only chooses the top card in the deck. So if I exile the Terravore, he shuffles it back. And then he waits until he puts it again. But I mean, I still have to do it. So now he shuffles the Terror back with the Corrosion Reclamation. Oh, he lets it go. Okay, so now he needs to keep comboing off. Edu Slinger is pretty sexy. We drew the Swords to Plowshares though, so that's a very good draw. I'm not gonna lie. Still going. Oh, literally the last card is the Terror. So we're gonna let the Shadow Grave resolve. We Swords to Plowshares. Goes up to 32. We take 1. And that's it. No more Terravors. And this deck is resilient. I needed to have like double Furnace into Swords to Plowshares in order to be able to beat this. Pretty insane. Pretty insane, I'm not gonna lie. Vindicate. Does that do anything? He only has the 1 Reclamation, so I think he has way more than enough mana, so I think I just Vindicate the Nomads and Core. This match ended up being extremely interesting. I was not expecting it to be like that. It flashes back Reclamation, Reanimate times 2. Oh, Gemstone Mine and Reanimate. That is going to resolve. Maybe he wanted to reanimate. Oh, he wanted to get 2 reanimates and he misclicked. He clicked on the Gemstone Mine instead of the reanimate. I don't know if he's able to kill me from 19 though. Artie is absolutely insane with this deck, man. He's so sick. Like that line that he figured out to reanimate my my Eternal Dragon last game to swing for lethal. That's insane. I definitely missed that. But I'm not sure. Yeah, he didn't have a line this time around. Even if he did get both reanimates, like whatever he reanimates, I just exile. Now we're on to round number 4. This hand could be a little bit of everything. I think it's fine. We have Sweeper, we have some basics, which I like in the face of potential wastelands. So we're up against Basic Island. Hopefully not a turn to Dreadnought. Another Plains. Another land. Okay, this is not looking too good. Blue-green. Okay, my interest has been peaked now. I think I'm gonna pass. I could Verdict here, but like I don't know what my opponent's up to. I may run into Mana Leak when they have not really been using their mana at all. Aquamoeba. This is just madness. Okay, I think I Verdict now. They may discard some stuff that I would rather them not discard, but at least we're playing around counter magic or whatnot. Not super scared of this Aquamoeba. They discarded 2 cards. 3 cards now. Oh, this is gonna be a lot. So I guess they chose to discard 3 cards, 4 cards actually. Yeah, that I don't think that was a good play. I don't think that was a good line. I'll take it. So it looks like this is not Survival Madness, which is great for me. This being just like regular Madness is much better for me. Guess I'm going to Wrath here. Opponent does have Mana Leak. I think I'll just take it. I'll just pass the turn. This means they get to Arrogant Worm on end step. But because they didn't... Okay, so they do have the Worm. I didn't think they had the Worm because they could have... They missed on 2 points of damage for no reason. So I think it's possible they have some form of counter magic. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Vindicate the Worm. Oh, we have 2 rats? Well, I guess I'm going to do that now. Let's actually go with the original plan. This plays around Mana Leak, which my opponent has already shown me. Unsummon the Worm. I respect it. This means no counterspell. So now I can Wrath, play the Dust Bowl. Now my opponent cannot actually play the Worm here. So it's basically a time walk there. Well, I wish I had 1 more mana to make my opponent's situation even more awkward. Mongrel. So we're just going to do this. Vote in the mana. I'm just going to pass the turn. Next turn we can once again Wrath. Oh, I tapped. No, that's fine. I did just play the wrong land there. Circular Logic. Really wish I had drawn something here. We have not been drawing super well. Duress. I'm gonna cast it, but on the off chance that my opponent... Oh, double Worm and another Mongrel. That sounds very bad for us. Oh, they just have lethal. Yeah, that was awful. Aura of Silence out. Furnaces in. Cabal Therapy in. I don't think I won the Gators. It's definitely not a matchup that I was ready for. I'll cut a Duress. Duress is actually quite good here. I think I'm gonna cut the Verdict. Okay, this hand, much better than the one that we had before. At least it does something. When it has some sort of end game. Turn 1 Rootwalla. I was actually thinking about maybe playing Blue-Green Madness at some point. Just because I think that this deck is misbuilt. So I find it interesting to try to figure out if there's a way to optimize it. Because of what we just saw. Like this is literally my opponent's... My opponent has a bad turn 1 play, which is turn 1 Rootwalla, and then they have only exactly 1 good turn 1 play, which is Careful Study. I feel like this deck should play at least 4 copies of Portent. So here's his Swords to Plowshares on the Aquamoeba. My opponent wants to discard again 3 cards to protect it. That's a nice draw. So let's do this. And then this. Let's activate the furnace and pass it down. I could cycle furnace on end step. I think I'm probably going to. They pump. This means they're not holding up. They're not holding up circular logic. Okay, so we have Vindicate now. Definitely casting one of these. I think I'm gonna blow up the land. We trade with a mana leak here. I'm kind of okay with that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so my opponent pumps here. So I think I'm gonna be taking this turn off to buy back the dragon so that I can drop it next turn. Scrying is interesting. Once again, they pump. I think I can take this turn off to trade for whatever counter magic my opponent has here. Another mana leak. Now this coming turn, I'm going to Vindicate the Root Walla because I cannot take any more hits. So we'll see if my opponent has no worm, which means I'm just going to blow up AI my coast. Could have played the worm only off of a Frantic Search there. Amoeba in the house. Cabal Therapy. Gonna name Circular Logic here. Ha! And the last card is an Arrogant Worm. So scrying. We can only scry for 2, but we need to draw something here. That is something. I think I Wrath. And the reason to Wrath now is to play around counter magic and also to not go down to 1. So now if my opponent finds a land, they can drop the worm. But if they don't, now we can do this. And I definitely forgot to get back the dragon and upkeep there. I meant to have a stop on my own turn. Here we go with dragon, play land and pass the turn. Untap. That's better. Here's this guy. Girl. Playing around mana leak is also nice. Do I want to cycle dragon? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't think I do. My opponent could have unsummon. They played land for turn there. And they could have unsummon, but I think if I connect here, we should be Gucci. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If they mana leak here, this is nice, because now I get to resolve Gerard's Verdict. Because I'm not scared of my opponent putting an Arrogant Worm into play. Roar of the Worm. I got. Was not expecting that one. It's not one you see every day. That's cool. My opponent's cooking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dragon comes back. Another Dust Bowl. So the last card in hand is an Arrogant Worm. This is 6. I'm at 12, so I can just draw 4. Guess it seems worth it. If I draw 3, that gives me one more turn, one more hit that I can take from the worm. So I draw 3, 9, take 6 down to 3, then go up to 7. So I guess drawing 3 is better, just in case. Well, we know the last card in hand is a worm, so no use in casting the rest. Now we go to 3, and we see the problem with this deck. Obviously, we drew Decree, which is a great pickup, but the mana situation in Blue-Green Madness is just, if you're being generous, it's horrendous. Gonna make some dudes. Just the casual 8 dudes. Drew a Wrath. On to game number 3. Any other changes? Does Worm make me want to change anything? Not really. I still don't like Gerard's Verdict, but it is what it is. Double Furnace. This hand could be anything. I think I keep it. One in most to 6. That's a fine draw. Opponent's deck kind of struggles against a Resolved Exalted Angel. They need to have a 2-drop. Aquamoeba. So let's cycle Varamore first. They have a card. That's fine. I mean, if they have an Arrogant Worm on 3, that's going to be a problem. The nice thing is that Circular Logic doesn't do anything at all. Okay, this time around they're being aggressive with the worm, with the Aquamoeba. Makes sense? 3. Now we're going to play an Angel. Now we're going to hope that my opponent does not have unsummon. That's cute. Rancor. Gonna take a bunch of damage here. We are gonna... Ooh, that's a nice draw. Oh, I forgot to exile the Wonder. We've definitely done that. So now the worm cannot attack anymore. I mean, I'm going to block. Wait, oh my god. I meant to flip the Angel, but instead I clicked OK. Ugh, that's so bad for me. Well, I mean, obviously we're going to do this now. It sucks, but... Oh, that's awful. That's so awful. Frantic Search. I think I may lose because of that misclick. Aquamoeba Rancor is not a combo. In case you're wondering, if you were wondering, is Aquamoeba and Rancor a combo? The answer is a resounding no. So if my opponent has unsummon, we lose. Can't beat that, because trample damage is gonna kill me. But both creatures trample, so it doesn't really matter. I have to plow now, because otherwise, now with the... Oh my god, I misclick and I gave them a Rancor. Man, the misclicks are killing me this game. But fortunately, my opponent got a little bit reckless with that attack, so may be able to get away with murder. Maybe, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to let's cycle first for a plains. Then I'm gonna crack one of these furnaces. Another Angel. It's a nice draw. I'm gonna complain about that draw. But yeah, I should have exiled the Rancor, obviously. But now, I mean, if this Angel resolves, we should be good. Even if it doesn't, I think I have already stabilized. Circular Logic. I would like to exile your Frantic Search, and I will definitely pay 0. There you go. Very, very rough misclick there, but we did get there. Yeah, I think this deck is better than it looks, and I do like the Rancor edition. I don't think that I think my opponent made a couple of mistakes there. The big one was definitely not putting the record on the Arrogant Worm, forcing me to trade with the Angel. I think that they thought that Aquamiva's wording would like work with Rancor, but that's just not the case. Like, it only works if you activate preemptively and then you play the Rancor, and then you're gonna have a 5/1 for one turn. But after that, it's just a 3/3, so you cannot really flip it anymore. But I mean, it's a pretty it's a mistake that I think I would have made. So anyway, see you for the next round. Moving on to match number 5, and this hand looks pretty good. Let's keep it. Have some basics, have some swords to plowshares, furnace. Nice to just play out on turn 1, then see what happens. Depending on what my opponent's doing, they move to 6. I may not verdict on turn 2, and I may just cycle Eternal Dragon. Lucky. Or definitely not verdicting on turn 1. Let's play another furnace. Just gonna plow that lucky. Just gonna quickly cycle these furnaces when my opponent fetches Fanatic. So let's verdict, naturalize, incinerator. Interesting that they didn't take the chance to take my furnace there. I don't think the Fanatic hit matters too much, and denying me of a land drop seems like kind of a big deal. Maybe they just needed to fetch double red. Oh, they had Tinker. I mean, that Tinker's never doing anything, right? As well, exile there. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna take this turn to drop an Angel, force my opponent to have another Gem Palm right now, or face the consequences. They have the Gem Palm. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe it was better to just cycle Dragon and just like slow play the beat down a little bit. Yeah, I regret what I did now. Yeah, I think that was a bad play. Especially because it also gets punished by second Fanatic. Okay, we can take this turn off, and then Wrath the upcoming turn. I may just cycle for no value, looking for a land. Nah, actually I don't need to. War Chief. 1 card in hand. Guess I might as well do rest in case they have a naturalize to take a peek. This is just for info. Incinerator. So we're looking okay. On his last card is Incinerator. We have an Exalted Angel. I'm gonna play a Baron more here. I think I just take the 1 point. These are worth more as chump blockers down the line, I think. I'm definitely cycling though. They played out the Incinerator. 2 Soldiers, Vindicate ×2. Okay, it's looking good now. It's looking pretty good now. Best draw would be Ringleader, which is exactly what they draw. And then they find Pile Driver, War Chief. Opponent doesn't have good attacks. And I know that I can let this lucky hit too, which is nice. We're definitely gonna kill one of these. Oh, that is much more interesting. Yeah, I think we're just going to swing with the Angel, and we can just make a bunch of 1/1s. I am definitely scared of another Gem Palm, because my opponent can go Pile Driver into Gem Palm, and I get super punished by that. But they go for the War Chief into Pile Driver, which is much better for me. So now, cycle Decree, make 3 dudes, dead draw, but that's fine. So we block there, double block there, double block, untap, Vindicate the War Chief. And I think I just Vindicate a land, because I don't want my opponent to draw another Ringleader. And now this second Exalted Angel should be enough. Opponent's drawing really well. Okay, that was not a good Ringleader though, so that we should be good now. Take 6. We know the last card in hand is another Ringleader. We're gonna go up to 11, and now we have Exalted Angel ×2 to close the deal. So we're getting there. On to the next game. Winning game 1 is huge. So bring the Plagues, bring Circles. That's it. Cut Negator, cut Aura, cut 1 Scrying. Oh no, that's a lie. Cut the Duresses against Scrying, and the 3rd. And there it goes. This hand doesn't deal with lucky, so I mean, it's a horrendous hand. Just to be clear. Same thing here. We're gonna go to 5. Okay, keep this. Bottom Decree, bottom Caves. Do not get got by Wasteland. Obviously, if they have turn 1 lucky, they can run away with it. But turn 1 Mork Fanatic, I can beat. Port. It's quite strong. Would definitely be stronger if my opponent had a lucky. Play my land. Pass the turn. Once again, Port being so much better than Wasteland, it's not even funny in the Goblins deck. Prospector. So here, whatever they tap, I just verdict them. This may force them into discarding some amount of either green sources, meaning no naturalize for the Plague, or actual naturalizes, or actual good cards. So this is probably like a pretty tough verdict for them. We did get a land there, and the green source. Having drawn all of our basics means that even double port doesn't really do that much. That is fine. Here's a Plague. This is gonna slow the game down pretty dramatically. They sack Fanatic for mana. Oh, comes back. Okay, they ping. That makes more sense. I mean, maybe they can cycle a gem palm. It's probably a good thing for them to do. Them a little bit closer. Yeah, I mean that verdict quite good. Quite good. When it taps my white source, guess I might as well cycle now. I'm gonna cycle anyway. Draw the worst possible draw, but that's okay. We'll see how this game progresses. We'll see how long it takes for my opponent to find an answer to this Engineer Plague. Oh, nice Wasteland. But I think I'm just gonna spend this turn getting back the Eternal Dragon. We're quite far ahead. Scrying is actually not that great when I have only one card in my graveyard. Slightly awkward. I mean, my opponent can't really win though, so we'll see what my opponent does. I think I'm just cycling Decree. Cycle Decree for 3, get a little bit of a clock in place, use my mana, put a card in the graveyard so I can start to do schedule scrying stuff. We're not doing great, but we're gonna be able to recoup. Also, you know, the vast majority of my opponent's cards just don't do anything, so that's definitely I mean, I'm not complaining about my current situation, is what I'm saying. So I'm gonna be able to play a dragon this turn because my opponent tapped a port, so I'm gonna take my chance and just try to close the game quickly. And this is how my opponent potentially gets back into the game, so it's definitely a fine pickup for them. I'm not drawing well. Not drawing well at all. If I swing for 2 here, if my opponent goes triple pile driver, we're still fine. So this is good. And then next turn what I'm going to do is I'm going to start attacking with the dragon until eventually the soldiers can do things. I do think it's likely they have at least one neutralize in hand. Matron or Ringleader. Ringleader, makes sense. Into Siege Gun, Matron, Gem Palm. That's very good one. Extremely strong Ringleader. And the pile driver. See what we draw. So much nothing. Come on. Second Plague. Yes. Alright, that's game. I have to say, for a second there, I kind of got a little bit worried. And then the Second Plague showed up and that's that. So now we can actually swing with everybody. This is 8. In next turn, this means that fetch lands are going to be out of the picture too. Or Carpus Enforced. Naturalize. I want to just notices that we actually have lethal on board. Alright, got there against Goblins. 1 point. We were starting to draw a little bit too many lands, but we got there in the end. See you for the next. And it's time for the last round against Will. This hand seems pretty decent against the decks that Will likes to play. I don't think I would keep it in the blind, but knowing that I'm playing against Will, turn 1 duress is kind of exactly where I want to be. He loves Stasis. Loves Stasis. Hey, look at that. He was going for the 1-2 punch. There's an island. Pass the turn. We're just going to cycle Scrying on end step. Really interested in dropping a negator ASAP. He only has had 2 turns of draws, so I think that I want to YOLO here. Try to get a clock as soon as possible. So this puts him in a spot where he must find an answer in 4 turns or play Stasis, which he found. It's a big problem. I'm still going to attack because like this negator is only gonna do 5 damage. That's what it's going to do. Nothing else. So we play on, my friends. There's no real use in playing this Gerard's Verdict. Doesn't really achieve anything. Just taps me out. And my goal is to eventually find enough land so that I can Forsaken City the Dust Bowl the Forsaken City. Black Vice actually does put me on a clock. There we go. But if I find 1 land, I'm just gonna... That's the shot that I'm taking. Oh, he has Gush. Never mind. We're good. Move on to the next game, where we don't draw 4 of our 6 removal spells against the deck with no target. Cut that. Cut that. Bring in Therapy. Bring in Negators. Bring in Aura of Silences. And... Is Exalted Angel the card I'm cutting? Angel is an easier to handle threat, I guess. So maybe Eternal Dragon is what I cut. Like I can split the cost of Angel over 2 turns. Oh, Decree of Justice, just the worst. Oh no, actually I can Decree on end step. Yeah, I think it's a Dragon. Dragon is the threat that forces me to tap the lowest. Interesting. Can I do better than this? I think I keep. Obviously we need to find the black source as soon as possible, preferably this upcoming turn. I do think last game was, I mean, Will obviously got pretty lucky. Like in two draw steps, he found another one of his 3 copies of Stasis without even cantripping. Just naturally found it. So let's drop the Aura of Silence here. Counter spells. If he has Stasis here, we're gonna lose, but I don't think that it gets better if we wait longer. So I think we're in a spot where we just need to jam. What would really help would be a black source. A black source would be quite exciting. So the Aura of Silence is down. That's a black source. So let's, I think I morph the angel first, then I do res. This is actually the bait spell. Hardcast, Fort, Stasis, and Impulse. Take the Impulse. 4 mana Stasis I'm kind of okay with. I think I Vindicate the Trevas Ruins. I'm gonna scry him for 3. Kinda wanna draw a land. Furnace, I'm probably just gonna cycle this. Doesn't really have that much value. The Forsaken City. Would love to find some, exactly that. Exactly that. Just any threat, really. Counter spell. It's gonna Vindicate Forsaken City. I'm gonna Vindicate the device there. Chain of Vapor. I'm gonna sack the aura. I'll blow up the device here. This is gonna force him to need more. And now it's going to be a matter of, does he find the gushes and stuff before I find the reses and whatnot. Stasis, Claws of Gigs. One last card in hand. It really comes down to that. Does he find the gush or not? And I'm not gonna run anything into a thwart. That's the key. He is hitting land drops though, which is great for him. But at least he doesn't have a clock. Alright, there we go. Should I do res? Yes, I should do res. Because if he bounces the stasis, then foil constant miss. He just whiffs. Yeah, looks like he just missed. Just sacks the stasis on end step. 4 mana. Well, I'm now terrified. Parallax Tide? Bro, that also combos with Claws of Geeks, I guess. I have 10 lands. I mean, if he takes 5 of them, it's gonna take me off of black. So I guess we're just gonna scrying in response. So let's draw 2. See what we pick up. Negator Angel. I think Angel is just a faster clock. Like, I hate it, but it is what it is. He gushes. Okay, so we're gonna have a rough time here. This is not gonna be great. That's Dust Bowl. I guess we don't cast, we just play it. Take 2 will. If he doesn't do anything of note, I'm gonna cycle the Creon instead. Ugh, he found Stasis. God damn it. So now we're gonna do nothing for a bunch of turns. The good thing is that we have the tower covered with this Dust Bowl, which is cool. Finding a black source would be very exciting. Yeah, so many land drops. Green and 1 is gonna be Blessing. Chain, Titan, Gush. I guess that's a reason to having played out the Furnace verdict. Not quite. Let's play out the Furnace. I guess that it doesn't really matter. Other thing, so I don't think playing Furnace was good. I regret doing it now. Another Angel. Yep. He found the chain before I found the black source. It's really bad for me. And now I think we are dead. Found Tide. That's pretty sick. So I guess he's going to exile 3 lands that are untapped. And he can also exile, like, untap 2 lands, which is nice. Yeah, that's cool. Tight play. Very tight play. He gets to untap a land for free. 3 mana Parallax Tide. His Claws of Gigs was somehow irrelevant and extremely relevant. I mean, it was the Tide, right? It was the Tide that got me. Had I had access to black sources, maybe we have a shot, but without them, not too much to do. I mean, technically, there could be still a glimpse of a chance. He hasn't found the clock. We're drawing a bunch of irrelevant cards though. So he needs to not find lands, not find the clock. I need to not play any spells into, what's his name? The thwart. He also needs to not find Chain of Vapor. So yeah, I'm not I'm not super stoked about all the things that need to go right for me to even be playing here. He has another chain, bounces the angel. Yeah, I'm not gonna cycle land. You can have your Claws of Gigs. Just gonna discard a couple of angels. Definitely angel flooded over here. As soon as he shows me how he's gonna win the game, I'm gonna pack it. But I mean, he needs to not have counters. Yeah, it's just too many things at this point. It is just too many things. Alright, I'm ready to give up here. This matchup has always been pretty bad. I think Negator makes it slightly better. Definitely not good enough. Alright, see you for the next... Oh, actually, never mind. Alright, so that's it. 3 and 3. Well, there you go, folks. That was 6 rounds of PDGA. Maybe not so P as well, still. But it was an idea. It was an idea, and it definitely felt like it was doing something. Like I felt like I was doing something. It was very close, especially like the first 2 matches. I feel like could have gone literally just any way. Like it would have been either way if my opponents had drawn like slightly worse or I had drawn slightly better. It's just sometimes, you know, that's just how it goes. That's why your opponent and why you put those cards in the deck, right? So sometimes you draw them in the right order and sometimes you don't. But I do think like this has a better balance of tools. Like for example, an issue that I had in the past with this deck was that against a matchup like Stasis, for example, I just had so many duds. And here, I did not feel like that was as pronounced. I do feel like obviously the matchup is still horrendous. Like I don't think that I was at any point excited about about facing it, but at least I do think that it's more interesting, at least, which is cool. You know, like it does illustrate the fact that there's at least a little bit of room to grow with decks and archetypes, or room for adaptation. I don't think that this is the deck's final form yet. I do feel like I went just a little bit too ham on Hour of Silence. It was pretty good though, I have to say. It mattered, I guess, in that last Stasis matchup. Like, it was actually pretty good. Like, it was the one thing that was keeping me in the game and giving me a little bit of wiggle room. But you know, eventually it, you know, what needed to happen happened. But I didn't face any of the matchups that I was hoping to. But at least we did face the Terrabor deck, and I did feel quite comfortable in that matchup. Like, I did feel like I had the tools. It was just a matter of I didn't find the cards quickly enough, or it just didn't work out. Like, maybe Decree of Justice is just not the threat that this deck needs. It feels like it is. It feels like this is what we're supposed to be doing, but it's just so awkward so often, I should say. So if these are 2 more negators, we would be losing some percentages against decks like Burn or whatever, like matchup that negators batting, like Goblins. But we would then be able to like have extra room for like the 4th Plague or something like that, while gaining some percentages in game 1 against the Tide decks as well. So there's still room to tinker and to mess around with this deck. I don't think it's great. I'll tell you that much. Like, it's probably like one of the many playable pre-modern decks. And what I do think about this deck is that it's sweet. It's really fun to play. I enjoy it every time that I play it. I have a really good time. So it has that going for it. So I feel like it's a deck that is always going to be my roster of decks that I enjoy to play. And every some months or something, I'm going to like get back to it. But yeah, I don't think it's particularly good. I think like mid-range right now is just not. The only way to make mid-range good is to do something like the Terrabors decks are doing, which are just play oath. So yeah, I don't think mid-range is where you want to be these days of Parallax Tide dominance. But yeah, those are my thoughts. That's going to be it for me today, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.